Yo, what's going on, ladies and gents? My name is Arbuckle. Welcome back to another video. Today we are once again back on Black Ops 4, and today is the fourth installment in my How to Improve Your Aim guide for Black Ops 4. If you guys haven't already seen the first 3 episodes, I'm going to make sure to leave links down in the description below so that you can check those out. I highly recommend that you watch all 3 of those before you watch this one. And as usual, if you guys have any questions on any of the things I talked about in this series, make sure to leave a comment down below, and I'll be sure to help out as many of you guys that I possibly can. But yeah, today's the 4th installment. Today we're going to be talking about minimap awareness and how that can actually help you to improve your aim, which is something that sounds a little ridiculous. How can the minimap possibly help your aim? But it does, and it will if you follow these tips that I'm going to share with you. And yeah, so really the first thing that you want to do is have a good understanding of minimap awareness. You want to know the flow of traffic on the map based on the minimap, and have an understanding of where your team's safe zone is at all times. Now, I want to go ahead and make this clear that staring at the minimap the entire game is not going to help you. I know a lot of people have a problem with constantly looking at the minimap, especially when there's a UAV up. UAVs can be detrimental when it comes to doing well in Call of Duty because people are constantly staring at the UAV or the minimap, trying to figure out exactly where the enemies are going to be, and they end up running around a corner and they're looking at the minimap and they don't have that chance to aim down sight, and by the time they get their sights aimed down, before they even pull the trigger to shoot, they're already dead. So you don't want to stare at the UAV the entire game. That is not what I'm trying to promote in this video. However, I am trying to promote the idea of paying attention to UAV more often. I know a lot of people tend to not really look, especially with Call of Duty being so fast-paced. People aren't staring at the UAV as much as they should be. And like I said, you don't need a UAV. As a matter of fact, this whole strategy works better without the UAV because it's a lot less distracting. You don't know exactly where enemies are coming from. So the first thing, like I said, what you want to do is understand the flow of traffic. You want to see where the hot points are on the map. You want to understand where your teammates are, and then figure out where the enemies are going to be based off of your teammates' locations. The flow of traffic is essentially where all the gunfights are going to happen, right? Like most of the time, just playing Call of Duty, you don't even need a UAV to understand where the choke points are, where everybody's going to be generally throughout the game. But using that UAV, you'll be able to locate your teammates, and you'll be able to see where they're dying, where they're disappearing, where they're spawning, and you can use that information to kind of understand where the enemies are going to be at, and you can already have your pre-aim down. For example, let's say I'm running into the spawn, which I don't recommend doing all the time, but let's say I'm running into the spawn, I see my teammates all spawning on the right side of the map. Maybe one just died in front of me on the left. What that's going to do is, if you're paying attention to that, that's going to allow you to slow down, aim down your sight, creep around a corner, be prepared to get in a gunfight before it actually happens. So many people just run around corners aimlessly, just pushing as fast as possible, and their aim is awful because by the time they get there, it's too late, and they aim and start spraying everywhere, and it just doesn't work out. So if you're paying attention to your minimap and you notice that, hey, you know, a teammate died up here, or maybe a teammate spawned up here, let me watch this side of the map, you're going to already have your sights aimed down, and you're going to be prepared to get in that gunfight before it even happens. So this is why minimap awareness is actually very important. One thing that I do recommend doing is staying as far away from your teammates as possible. This actually can really help improve your aim because most of the time you won't even have a competition. If you pay attention to the minimap and you notice that your teammates are all on one side of the map and you try to flank from the other, you can actually get behind people so much easier because there's not a lot of fights going on over there. If you're going in the same direction, if you're going into the hot points of the map where most of the traffic is, it's going to be very, very difficult to sneak up behind people and get multiple kills without having to get in a crazy gunfight. However, if you're taking the long route, you know, you're trying to stay away from your teammates, but understanding that you are in hostile territory, it'll be easier for you to get up behind people to win more gunfights because you'll have the advantage. You'll have the upper hand. You won't be in a situation where someone else is already aiming prepared for you. You'll be already aiming prepared for them. So hopefully, I know this is a little bit confusing. I'm hoping that this makes a little bit of sense so that you guys understand how important it is to really pay attention to that minimap. But make sure that you're pushing away from your teammates. Try not to stay too much on them, and never turn your back to the open point of the map. This is something that I feel like is obvious, but people, even myself, like don't really pay attention to it. But when you're looking at the map, you'll see, you know, half the map is generally occupied by the green triangles, your teammates, right? You never want to turn your back on the empty part of the map because obviously that's where the enemies are going to be. And if you have your back turned and you're facing your teammates, you know, you're facing the opposite direction, trying to predict maybe the next spawn or a spawn flip, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to win gunfights because you're going to have to turn around, then lock down your aim, then start shooting while this dude is already looking at your back, aiming down sights prepared to kill you. So try not to turn your back on the open spots on the minimap. Make sure that you're pushing away from your teammates, and use the minimap to understand the flow of traffic and understand your team's safe zone. That's kind of a recap of what I just talked about in the video. I just want to make sure that you guys kind of understand, because I know it can be kind of difficult to explain. Hopefully I did a decent job of giving you guys advice. I encourage you, if you're watching this video and completely lost, to ask questions. I'll be sure to answer them as well as I can in the comment section down below. But I hope you guys did enjoy. Again, I encourage you to go check out the first 3 episodes of this series. Links down in the description below. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see all you guys next video.